Hi gang, Vince Wishart here, just sitting in my art studio, and I kind of want to make a video about my story a little bit, where I come from and what got me to this place, and just so that by sharing my background, I figured you'd be able to get to know me a little bit better, and I was raised by great parents, really did the absolute best they could. They didn't know much about money and creating wealth. So, I got, I guess I got through the power of association to led me into scenarios where drugs were, and of course I did some taste testing, and a great lot of it too, eh? So, which led me into an ego protection lifestyle kind of piece for a long time, and a great long while. I was in and out of recovery circles, and until one time I was on a big long run, and then I had a moment of clarity. Hey, I remember I was walking up out of my basement at the time, my little place of self-destruction, and I was walking up the stairs, and I remember opening up the door, and my wife at the time was standing there, and she looked at me, and it was almost like God or somebody hit me right here with a 2x4, 8-foot 2x4, and it was like, whang, wake up time, and I just I made a decision, I guess, at that moment that it was time to make a change, and it's been uphill ever since. Now, I'm not going to say it's easy, because it hasn't been easy, but because of that, I've been able to do a lot of hard work on myself, a lot of deep inner work, and now I've been given a gift through that. In that process, now I've been able to help a lot of other addicts get off of drugs, and that's really fulfilling for me. Hey, I really love to be able to reach down into someone's life, give them a hand up instead of a hand out. Due to my past experiences, it's given me something of value to give to others. Hey, and so I even got a chance to start up and run a charity for 3 years, and once again giving people a hand up instead of a hand out. So it was wonderful. I love being of service to others now. That's my new drug of choice. So since then, I've worked at a treatment center to give back. I've won all kinds of awards and plaques and painted epic murals. I've opened several new businesses. I've reunited with my kids. Created a sustainable clothing line made out of renewable resources, and which also empowers poor people in poor countries to have a nice lifestyle as well. I build eco homes called Earth Ships, and I'm creating a business in which we not only create them but teach others how to create them as well, which speaks to the planet and helping with humanity. So I'm also a certified practitioner of NLP and SIA, and I'm studying hypnosis as well. And I even teach financial abundant techniques to folks as well. And of course, in the process of my growth, I attracted that of which I'd become, which is a magnificent gal, and my partner today, the blessed and sacred Suzanne, and she's just such an epic beauty, and together we're the ascending couple. So I had been married for 17 years when my life turned around. So my wife had kind of a difficulty following my new mindset, because in the past I'd been pretty manic and really pretty hard to cope with, I guess, and so in my ambiguous mind states, she figured I was probably just off on another tangent, and I can't blame her. So but I went from, in my new mindset, I went from how do I run from this pain in the past is how I would think of things, to now how do I cope with this pain effectively, and how can I learn from this to make myself a better person. So unfortunately for us, though, it was like we're on a hill holding hands, running in opposite directions. So I was facing an uphill battle, and she was facing a downhill battle, and we were just spinning our wheels going nowhere. So for 3.5 years we did this insanity, and then so anyway we ended up separating, and then a few months back we had a mediation, and it came out that after we equate the audit with Revenue Canada in there and all that stuff, that I ended up having to give her the house, the furniture in it, the home theaters, and all this stuff, right? And I even ended up walking away from my clothes and this thing, and I ended up having to pay a large sum of money on top of it, which meant it equated to like yet another $500 payment for me. And for me, I was already totally maximized, overextended on how many bills I can pay in a month, and I was already working 16, 18, 21 hours a day, pretty much 7 days a week, and in my new state of mind, I said, how can I pay this so that the lawyers don't get it, to give the highest outcome to the two of us. We were partners for a long time, so I'd much rather see her get the money than the lawyers. So how can I do this? And I just didn't really want to be arrogant in my rightness or any of that kind of piece, right? So 'cause today I'm no longer willing to run from my problems. So I looked skyward and I said, God, please help me. And I'm working as hard as I can. I don't know any way out of this. And the next day, some guy named George had this suggested Facebook post for me, and I checked it out, and I knew that this was my way through this mess that I created for myself. So it took me a few months to find like 8 hours to do any research on this in order to get started. But Tuesday, July 30th is our official start date. And am I ever excited about working with others, this team that we're developing to help them become free. We're building a team of freedompreneurs that is helping to save the world, and that's our intention here. And it really isn't about the money. It's really about creating great states for people and empowering them in their purposes, their highest purpose, their highest light, bringing that in, and making great outcomes. So that's what we're all about here, and I just figured you might want to know what the story was, and of course obviously it's a lot more in depth than that, and you'll get to hear that from stage and all that sort of piece. So with that, I just want to encourage you to click the button down below, have a look at the opportunity, see if it's a fit for you, and when you find that it is, let's work together and let's create great outcomes for yourselves and others. Thank you very much for taking the time out today. We'll talk to you soon.